Welcome to a new episode of Treasure Chest, our podcast and webcast where we dig into industry secrets and talk about the topics the whole industry is buzzing about. Today we have a special, we have a double episode because the topic we are talking about is so interesting, so dense, so controversial. And the two episodes are packed with insight and a lot of knowledge. So I'm really excited about it. Today's topic is really made out of three letters that make agencies sweat, that make software vendors sweat, and everybody's scared about them. RFPs, requests for proposal. Um, Many hate them, but they are still everywhere around. So please prepare for two episodes. In the first episode, we will examine the state of RFPs. We examine the frustrations, why people hate them so much. And in the second episode, we want to talk about how to handle them better, leaner, faster, smarter. I have today a fantastic guest who is joining me. He brings a lot of knowledge and a lot of firsthand experience to the table from both the retailer side and the agency side. We met through, guess what? An RFP with one of our customers. Please welcome Arne Tensfeldt.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Arne. Thank you so much for making the way to our office, to Cologne, and jumping into the discussion with me. For our viewers and listeners who don't know you that well yet, can you maybe introduce yourself quickly and tell a little bit about your really fascinating career?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, first of all, my career mainly was made in the on the company corporate side. So recently, where we met, I worked as the CPO for Blume 2000, where we sell actually flowers online. There's shops, retail shops as well, but I was mainly responsible for the e-commerce shop system. I worked there for roughly 3 years in total, and we had major changes regarding our IT infrastructure there, which we were managing with our teams there. And before that, I was working for different other companies like Kartmacherei. I saw already in your office some of the carts there with babies and stuff. So there we sell not flowers, but also beautiful, nice things like carts and so on. And then we had also major challenges with the IT stuff regarding e-commerce. And there were, I don't know, Edeka, Axel Springer, and I was working mainly in this product management department with my product owners, the developers, and so on and so on. And end of last year, I made there a bigger change and switched sides. And since starting this year, I started Askensio, which is my tiny boutique agency, which is mainly focusing on e-commerce, strategic consultant work. And this is what I actually do now.
Very impressive track record. So let's dive right in. When you hear the word or the words RFP, requests for proposal, what is the first word or association that comes to your mind?
I'm not good at bringing things to one word or one sentence, but first ideas I have in mind is how do a potential solution fits to our needs as a company, and how to evaluate this and how to have a clear overview what is the best solution in place for the needs of a company.
And before we really get into the frustrations, let's rewind a bit, go back to your roles on the retailer side. What did an RFP look like when you did it from the inside? And what were actually the goals and what happened in real life? Maybe not as planned, but can you give us like some insights from the retail side?
Yeah. First of all, I need to say maybe I'm from a environment where it was not that frustrational, something that you mentioned already, because in every company I worked for, we were in a position where we tried to dig deeper into the solutions to get hands-on experience and so on and so on. So having big Excel sheets, having things like is fulfilled or not, we can handle this or not, and so on and so on. So this was just a tinier thing of the whole process. But I think, in my perspective, the major part was always to really go into the details, to have a better feeling for the tool, the features, and so on and so on. And also one major thing was which kind of people were involved into this process. So is this completely separated from the internal guys, the internal teams, or how close were they involved into this process?
And did it all turn out like you wanted it to turn out? Did you meet the goals?
As in the end, we always made a decision, but not in any case. But in general, yeah, in the end, we were quite successful, I would say. But it was not an easy way because, yeah, I don't know, each solution offers different kind of information, is providing information in a different way. Just to give an example, so some companies, some vendors are offering, I don't know, deep documentation stuff, giving access to API documentation where developers are curious about, and so on and so on. So it's not, I never met this situation where everything was the same. So different vendors were offering different information, different documentation. And this whole process, in my point of view, was to bring everything together to make some good overview. This was the main effort we spent there.
What's the biggest mistake you made in an RFP process as a buyer? Have you made any mistakes at all?
I will not call it mistake, but one major risk might be if there is, for example, a tiny team which is deeply involved into the whole process, which is with full speed, full attention on that topic to make a good solution, then it's sometimes not that easy to have everyone on board. So the communication, to be transparent to all the stakeholders, is one of the major challenges, I think, which was in some cases maybe hard to have everyone at the same page, to involve everyone about the current status of the evaluation, to share the right information at the right time, in the right volume, in the right detail level. So I think this is one of the things which is quite hard in that process. So having the core team, but everyone around which needs to be involved somehow as well.
That's actually what we've also experienced from the vendor side, that you go through the whole lengthy process and all of a sudden the communication stops because people need to get aligned within the company, within the business. And it takes another week. So for everyone to get on the same page, to get on the current status, I think there's also a lot of room for improvement to get the right stakeholders on board very quickly. Now I have a question that's actually for me the most exciting question and that I ask myself a lot. Were you ever in favor of a vendor before the RFP process even started?
Probably yes. So I think everyone which is involved in this whole e-commerce game has a favor, knows some tools. If it is from a previous company, a person who was working for, or has some, let's say, better connection into this or that direction, I think this should definitely not influence the whole process at all. But having at least a connection, knowing some people where you have first-hand information, maybe some more details which are relevant for the company itself, I would call it valuable. But doesn't matter, needs to be transparent that there is at least a connection or whatsoever. But yeah, might be wrong to not make use of it. And this definitely can bring a favor into the whole process. But I call it a valuable something instead of something bad.
Okay. So from our perspective as a software vendor, RFPs feel very, let's say, overwhelming. You have a lot of pressure to stand out next to many other vendors. Still, you want to meet every criterion in a list. You want to tick every box. But at the same time, we often think that the time could be spent so much better in really creating a valuable relationship with a customer. And that's actually what I hear from many software vendors we talk to. It's a long process, it's a complicated process, and it really sometimes it feels like it doesn't really get to the core of what the decision should be. Do you think the software vendors are overreacting, or do you think that's like a fair feeling to have?
So based on the fact that there normally is not just one person on company side, so often there is at least a team, so there are a bunch of people which are more or less involved. And I think maintaining, you called it relationship, maintaining multiple relationships at the same time is hard or even not possible. I think the whole RFP thing is to break it down to have, I don't know, just a short list of potential vendors. So not having 10, not having 8 or 5, boil it down, bring it down to at least, I don't know, 2 or 3. And if this point is reached, then I see the potential to get a bit closer to start this kind of relationship, to know each other better, to beside the technical aspects which a solution is offering, the people aspect comes into play. Like, do I want to drink a beer with my colleague on the other side or not? Because this is an important factor. So in normal cases, it's just not only having something, buying a software, and then that's gone. So I think also from a relationship perspective, this is a long-term get together. And I think this is the point to bring all to break it down to not maintain multiple relationships at the same time, basically.
I totally agree, because like sometimes I feel the aspect of ease of doing business with is missing somehow, which is like I think growing in importance, because in every project you will encounter challenges, no matter how, why, and do you have the right crowd to solve these challenges with? And do you, as you said, do you like to work with these people? And can you go through problems with them, solve problems together? I think that's very, very crucial. So on paper, RFPs are supposed to create fairness and structure, transparency. They are very compliance relevant. Many businesses are obliged to follow RFP processes, especially when it comes to like high ticket sizes, when you buy enterprise software. Where did things start to go wrong? Why have RFPs such a bad image today?
Maybe it's not something which takes place later on in the process. Maybe it starts already while creating the template which is provided to a vendor. Because in my career, in my experience, often it starts already while creating the use cases, creating and writing down the must-haves and so on and so on. So, and I think depending on the experience of the people which are involved in the process, sometimes they are with, I don't know, blinding shields whatsoever. So they are just focusing on the things they know already, the things they are experienced with. And if they are just writing it down, what they know, what they have, then they are somehow blind for potential optimizations. So if you have a bad manual process and you make it somehow digital and automated, then you have a bad automated digital process. And I think choosing a new solution is a major and a great chance to also be inspired by better, smarter solutions out there. And having a strict template which is just representing what is there today is somehow limiting the possibilities to be impressed, inspired, whatsoever, with new ways of handling things. And this is, I think, one of the risks with already built into the process itself right from the beginning.
And one of the main complaints is really speed. Sometimes these processes take half a year or more. What do you think is slowing everything down?
I think we had it already. I think the communication thing is one important topic. So keeping in mind there's an internal team, maybe supported by an agency in the middle. Then it's about aligning, first of all, the questions, the topics, the needs, the use cases they have to first of all create the RFP itself, and then being in contact, having meetings with potential vendors, and bringing this together, and then spreading this information to the right people internally. In normal cases, there are several of departments which are more or less involved into the process, which in best case are involved already. If there are new information, new potential features which an software might bring, then this needs to be presented somehow internally. So there are, I think, multiple feedback loops back and forth between the team, which is the core team, which is handling the RFP itself, and then the internal stakeholders. And if you have more and more departments, the overall communication effort explodes more or less. Then we have vacation and so on and so on. So the right people are not there. And this, I think, is one important aspect. So the bigger the company are, the more people are involved, the longer the process might be.
And would you agree that some agencies or service providers also see RFP processes as a big business opportunity and maybe make it a little bit more complex and longer than it really needs to be?
Might
you
be.
are the founder of an agency yourself. Do you think that could be true, or?
I'm recently focusing a lot of having, I don't know, time and material work and paid something versus value-based pricing. And if we are in the, let's say, traditional environment where it is you get money for the amount of work, the hours you are billing, then there is at least can be a case that, I don't know, providing bigger, more paperwork and so on equals a bigger price for the whole project. But I don't think that's the best valuable approach to, I don't know, produce hundreds of pages of paper, because first of all, this needs to be handled on the vendor side. First of all, it needs to be created, it needs to be consumed, evaluated, and so on and so on. More is not always better in this case, I would say.
Talking about evaluation, so how much of RFPs today is about ticking quantitative boxes versus making real qualitative judgments? And do RFPs actually pick the best product or just the safest option?
I think we touched it already briefly. I think this comes together with this time and resources thing. So going deeper into a solution costs time in general. And if I do this for, I don't know, 6 potential solutions, to have more quality insights, to have more insights, I don't know, testing a demo or having a testing environment whatsoever, this costs time. And I think the whole RFP thing is about reducing the amount of potential solutions to just spend time with the best options. And I think this is the issue with that. So there is a chance that you will miss a solution which is not going through this, I don't know, template, Excel, something, spreadsheet thing. And then you miss those kind of solutions which are not going through this process.
Thank you, Arne. This is the end of our first episode regarding RFPs. So we really got into a great discussion about the state of RFPs, why they are, how they are today. And I'm looking forward to the next episode where we talk about how to make it better and leaner and bring a little bit more speed to the whole process.
Perfect.
So,
Looking forward. Bye.